Okay, so today's learning target is 3C. So Unit 3, we're still working on graphs. So we're still working on graphs, and this is what you will be able to do. Be able to calculate slope given two ordered pairs. So quick review, this is your do now question. It gives you your domain, which we know as our x values. These are our domain values. And then your range values, which is your y, is what we're looking for. This should be fairly easy. It's the same one that you had in your paper from yesterday. So let's substitute each one. We have our equation 4x plus 8 equals 2y. And I'm going to plug in each one of these terms into this space. So I did the first one. I plugged in the -4. Mathematical terms will say substitute or evaluate with the value of -4. Negative 4 times 4 is -16. 8 plus -16 is -8. Divide by 2 on both sides. Y equals -4, and that value ends up here. So this is our first ordered pair. I'm going to finish the rest of the work in just a second. Okay, I'll go over the last one together. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 8 equals 2y. Again, I can keep my equation equal. As you notice, all of them kind of have this nice pattern where everything is organized. It's easy to read through. I'm not really confused about anything. So keep your work organized, please. 16 plus 8 is 24 equals 2y. Again, divide by 2 on this side because this makes a 1. And 1 times y equals y equals, divide this side by 2 also to keep them equal. You get 12. Okay, so we have the same thing. We have to plot at least 3 domain values. Again, our domain will value of x. I'm going to pick really simple values, 0, 1, and 2. I'm going to substitute into this equation. So 2 times x plus y equals 4. And I'm going to solve each one. So I need to solve it 3 times. Once with the 0, once with the 1, and once with the 2. Okay, so each one of these solutions that I got, well, magically you get all your answers. Each one of these is an ordered pair, okay? And when I plot them, they will create a line. Now, if you have 2 points, it'll always make a line. So you need to try at least 3 points, so that way, if the points don't match up, you know you made a mistake. So the first one is 0, which means I don't go to 1, I don't go to -1, I go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 4. Second one is 1, 2. Again, I'll start at the origin, count 1, and then go up 1, 2. And then the last but not least, 2, 0. I'll start at the origin, go 1, 2, not go up any, not go down any, and I'll have 2, 0. Let me label these points. It'll help a little bit. 0, 4, 1, 2, and 2, 0. And then I'll connect with points. Usually I'll draw them out, but my lines are never straight. Go up. There you go. Here's your line. Okay, so slope is what we're learning today. I'm given 2 points, just like it says in our learning target. In order to do that, I have 2 sets of points. I have my x values. Both, remember, the first term is always your domain, always your x values. Your second values are your y values. I'm going to use both sets of information. Okay. Now, to make it a little clearer, I'll give them a little bit of a more precise name. This term here, or this first number, will be x1, and since this is the second group, this will be x2. And likewise, this will be y to the y1, and this is y2. These are not exponents, they are subscripts, they're just additional names. Okay. Now our equation is going to be rise, wrong color, our equation is going to be rise over run. Now, the run values go left and right, and our rise values go up and down. Now, I made these color coordinates to make sure they match. Y values are my rise, my X values are my run. Okay, so these are calculated as a change. This is a Greek symbol, delta, which represents change, and change is calculated with subtraction. So your formula will be rise over run, and I'm going to put the rise on top, which is y2 and y1, and the run values are x2 and x1. Now, like I said, delta means change, so the idea of change means subtract. That is my slope. I'll substitute the right numbers in the right place, calculate, and you'll have your answer. So, instead of y2, I'll write -3. Instead of y1, I'll write 3, and that minus sign in the middle. Okay. For our denominator, I'm going to write our x value, which is x2, which is 4, and our x1 value, which is -6, and then I'll put the subtraction sign in between. And I'll calculate. -3 minus 3 is -6, and 4 minus -6, I'll distribute. That becomes 4 plus 6. I get 10. So my slope is, if I reduce this, I'll divide both of them by 2, which is 3 over 5. This is our slope. Again, let's fill this out. So the students do the same process. Y2, we'll put in this number, -3. Y1 is 5. And the subtraction sign in between those two. Then we'll go to our x values, which are -3 again, and our x1 value, which is 2, and our subtraction sign in between. I'll continue this. I'll try and keep this a little more organized. This is our slope, so I'll just rename this slope equals, and I'll do the math. -3 minus 5 is -8. -3 minus 2 is -5. So our slope is -8 divided by -5. Again, a negative divided by a negative makes it a positive. So I could just say our slope is 8 over 5. Okay, so there are two ways to do this. Let's go over the first way, which is just like we've been doing. I'll give the value of these points. It doesn't tell me what they are, but I can count. So our first value, our x value is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our x value for the first point. x1, move that down, is 4. And our y1 value is going to be 0, and then 1. So this is 1. Repeat the same process here. We got x equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7, comma, and our y value is 0, 1, 2. Now this represents our x2 and our y2. x2 and y2. I have my x1, which I already wrote down, and the y1. Let's get rid of this one. Okay. Now I can again substitute them into the right place. y2, which is 2, and then the y1, which is 1, and then we'll have that minus sign in between. And our denominators are the red domain values, which is x2 again, 7 minus 4, and again the subtraction sign in between. Okay, let's scroll down a little bit. This is again our slope. Okay. And slope is 2 minus 1, which is again our rise value of 1, and then 7 minus 4, which is our x value or run value of 3. Okay. Again, both of these numbers are positive. That's the way we've been learning, so we'll stick to that. Now, if you're a visual learner, this might help. Rise value, rise is up and down, so this is our rise value right there. From this point to this point, I'm going this far, from here to there. That represents plus 1. I'm going up positive 1 unit. Now our run value is from left. I start here at this first point, and I'm running all the way over here. I'm running this way, and that represents a positive direction. I'm going in the positive direction. Again, positive direction represents positive 1, 2, 3. Now, slope can be calculated the way we've been doing it, or it can be calculated by counting. Plus 1, 2, 3. Again, rise, I went up 1. That's up. And then I ran the positive direction 3 spaces, and then I made another dot. This is also our slope. This is also correct counting. Same process one more time. Now, what you'll notice is that this graph is a little bit more confusing, so be careful. The point here, this is 0, okay? And this is -1. So that means the origin, this very, very center of our graph, is actually going to be right here, down here, and right here. So if I'm identifying those 2 points that are marked with those orange dots, make sure you identify them correctly with the right values. So this first one is -1, -2, -3. So this one is -3, comma, our y value, -1, -2, -3. This is -3, comma, -3. And this next term is 0, comma, because it doesn't go -1, it doesn't go +1, and our y value is 0 and then -1. So now I have my 2 points. We can label them properly: x1, x2, y1, y2. Okay. Let's fill in our graph. Okay, so here's your work. Again, when I substitute the y2 in the right place, I put a -1. When I substitute the y1, I'm putting that negative in parentheses because I'm not including this negative as part of that negative. So it's minus y1, minus y1. Same thing with this x value, minus x1. So x1 is a negative, so I have a negative. 0 minus negative is a +3. So here's my slope, +2 over +3. That can be calculated again by counting. If I start here, I can go up, rise, 1, 2 spaces, and I'm running 1, 2, 3 spaces. So +3, because I went that way, +3, and I went +2 from this point up. So +2 over 3 is our slope. Oops. Once you're finished with your notes, watching the video, depending on where you're sitting, work on the items listed here. Independent group, your Revolution Prep notebook, direct instruction, flip your paper over, work on the back assignments. If you're collaborative, work on your vocabulary, use those words on a regular basis. So those should be absolutely perfect. Add them to your Quizlet that you've already made. Also make sure that you have a whiteboard around and a marker. We're going to get some practice done in just a second.